Yo, 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 YouTube! Welcome to Stranded Sailors Wines. Today we're going to be transferring this pineapple wine from the primary fermenter to the secondary fermenter. As you can see, if you was with me during the making of this pineapple wine, I put too hot of water. The sugar water was too hot and I crashed the carboy. You see how much damage I done to the carboy? So I don't know how easy this is going to be to get this out of here. It didn't do too much damage, but it did do a pretty good warping on the carboy. See how bad it warped up the carboy? Putting hot water in a plastic carboy, that's what happens when you put hot water in a plastic carboy. Anyway, today we're going to be transferring this pineapple wine into the secondary fermenter where it'll sit for about 3 weeks. Let's see if I can get you sit down over here. And we'll get this going on. Hope everybody's doing good today. This started out as 10.5 pounds of pineapples. I'll take the airlock off and set it in my cup of star sand. First thing I'm going to do, pull my sleeves up out of the way. And there's a bunch of pineapple left in here. So we're going to drain. I'm going to squeeze as much pineapple as I can out of here because there's a lot of pineapple left in this bag. So I'm going to do a bunch of squeezing because I don't know that I can even get it out of the top of the carboy. And you see there's so much juice left in there, it dropped all the way down to 2 gallons. So I'm going to have to squeeze a bunch of juice out of here to get my 3 gallons. This is supposed to be a 3-gallon batch. So I'm going to have to squeeze a bunch just to be able to get this out of the carboy. Hope everybody's had a Merry Christmas. And I hope everybody don't make the same mistake I did when I made this. When you make your sugar water, make sure you let it cool down to room temperature before you put it in the carboy, or you'll have a deformed carboy like I've got here. You need to make sure you let the sugar water cool down to room temperature before you put it into the carboy. Because you see right here is a prime example. You will damage a carboy. Now generally I don't like to do a lot of squeezing on these bags. But just to get this out of here, I'm going to have to do a bunch of squeezing. There's a lot of juice in there. But just to be able to get it out the mouth of the carboy, I'm going to have to do a lot of squeezing just to simply get it out of the carboy. I wouldn't have thought that water was hot enough to warp that carboy like that, but it sure done a trick on that carboy. Well, I'm lucky it wasn't a glass carboy because it would have busted and I would have had wine all over the place. A friend of mine had just done that. How To Done Right had just posted a video of busting a glass carboy, so I'm glad I wasn't using a glass carboy. Yeah, I've done a bunch of squeezing. I still can't get it out the top. So I'm going to make a bunch of I have to do a bunch of squeezing just to get this out of the carboy. Squeeze out the pineapple that the yeast didn't eat. And as soon as I get to where I can get the pulp out of the carboy, I'll pull the bag on out. Ugh. There's plenty of juice left in there, but you just got to work with it until you can get it out of the carboy. Which the hot water didn't deform this up here, it deformed it in the bottom. I still got to get it worked down enough to where I can get it out of the carboy. There you go, I about got it now. That's almost a whole pineapple, look at there. All right. Now I got all my pulp out. I'm going to take the star sand and rinse my hands off. And some hot water. Grab a couple paper towels. Now, When we were making this pineapple wine, I think the video cut off before I got done, but the original testing was about 15%. I think that was because of the deforming of the carboy. I didn't get enough water in it. So I went back and added water, and I retested it a couple times before I added my yeast, and I got it down to a 13.5% alcohol by volume. So this should be about a 13.5% alcohol by volume. But we will test it after we get it transferred. I got my auto siphon here. Put my hose on. I don't know how easy this is going to be to transfer now that it's all warped up. But I don't see any sediment in the bottom of it. Now this took a long time to ferment. I don't know if it's because of the cold weather or what, but it took about 12 days for this to ferment. I still want to stay up off the bottom. Get your hose as far down in the secondary carboy as you can to limit oxygenation. Pump the auto siphon a couple times and get it started. And then it ought to flow automatically. If you can see here behind me, we got pineapples planted in the windowsill. Them are the heads off the pineapples. I done a separate video on planting the pineapples. And hopefully in a few more weeks I'll have enough roots to where I can plant them in soil. But I don't know. Some of them don't look like they're doing very good. That's the first time experiment for me. I wanted to see whether I could plant them. I had seen videos that you could plant the heads off the pineapples. And I'm experimenting to see how that goes. I would like to be able to grow a few of my own pineapples. I think that would be kind of neat. I'd like to thank all my new subscribers and my new viewers. Thank you for tuning in to Stranded Sailor Wines. I appreciate it. We will have more content in the upcoming year. But I appreciate everybody that's tuned in up till now. We've made some very good wine this year. And it's been a new experience. Like I said, I tested this a couple times before I put the yeast in, and it come out to be about a 13.5% alcohol. I had to add water because of the deformation of the carboy. I don't think I got the amount of water in it I thought I did. So I added water to lower the alcohol by volume of what it was showing. Now as I get lower, I'm going to tilt the carboy so I can stay off the bottom. Because you don't want to pick up the yeast in the bottom of the carboy. And this is the first racking of it. After I transfer it here, it'll sit in a dark room for about 3 weeks. Then it'll be transferred again, and I'll add potassium sorbate to stabilize it and Camden tablets to kill off the yeast. And then after that, it'll sit for another 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'll consider bottling it. This does have a little bit of yeast left in the bottom of it. Alright, I'm going to stop right there. We'll backfill the rest with water. I might have picked up some of the yeast, but I don't think I picked up very much. So the deformation of the carboy has changed the capacity of this carboy looks like about a half a gallon or more. See, here's the yeast left in the bottom. I don't know how good you can see it on there. Maybe you can see how bad the carboy is deformed. That's the yeast that we're taking out by racking it. And I'm going to pick this up and set it up here. Let me grab my measuring cup. And we will go on and test this. But I'm going to have to add water to cap it off with. This has been cleaned with star sand, my cylinder and my turkey baster. Set my turkey baster back in my star sand. Now I'm going to take my hydrometer and I'm going to clean it with star sand. Because anything that touches the wine, you want to make sure it's sterile. Well, that's pretty easy to read. That's 0.999. The yeast has eat off 100% of the sugar. So the fermentation process is done with, it's complete. And I'm gonna, shit. Well, I just made a mess. I'm gonna clean this hydrometer one more time with star sand. Good thing I had a towel laying there. Before I put it back in its protective sleeve. And I've got a couple inches here on top. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pour this back in here. The recipe calls for additional water, so it's no big deal. We're going to just add water to cap this back off. That ain't enough. Just a little bit more. Here, it won't hurt. All right. Put my turkey baster in there. I'll put my top on. Yeah, apparently when I poured that hot water, that hot sugar water in my carboy, and I worked the carboy, I'll fish my bone out of my star sand cup that I spilt. Put my bone back in. when I poured that hot water in the carboy and it deformed the carboy, I lost about a half gallon of displacement in the carboy. And the ironic part is I had just talked about you need to make sure you let the water cool down to room temperature so you don't warp a carboy. I just spoke about that, and I turned around and done it. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to Stranded Sailor Wines today. It helped me transfer this pineapple wine from the primary fermenter into the secondary fermenter. I greatly appreciate the support. And until next time, this is Greg tuning out. Thank you. I appreciate it. Goodbye.